Is that what that is?
It's a good, oh my God.
It is? It's a good, oh my God. The judge.
Pattis is
Hold
back.
on. Oh! He is?
Yeah, Pattis is back in business. He is. The stay was granted until the end of January, and then he's going to work on the review. So Pattis is back at the table. He is going to be on the defense team for Biggs. That is big news for everybody. It appears that him and Dan Hull have made up their differences that they had yesterday, and they walked away together today to discuss, what's going to be happening.
All right, can you please do me a favor? Describe what happened yesterday. Because now this is an open court, but please describe it.
Okay, so what happened yesterday is there was some conflict between Dan Hull and Mr. Pattis. And Mr. Pattis asked to be withdrawn altogether. It was pretty dramatic. Judge Kelly said absolutely not. He did not know, and he did not know at the time the status of Dan Hull. It has been a bit of a point of contention because Biggs has really wanted Pattis to take this case. Hull has been, Judge Kelly had refused to release Hull also. But all conflicts and everything have been resolved today, and Mr. Pattis is back at it. So that's great news for the Proud Boys trial. That's huge news because we all know, well, we don't all know, but we will know how important all that is going to be. So
we will. Deb Jordan, what do you have to say to that? I like this news because, we've been waiting for it. Essentially, correct me if I'm wrong, the judge, especially in light of the audio recording, was made public. Dan Hull saying something really disgusting, and we're going to get to that. But the judge would have had to decide to force Joe Biggs right in the middle of a trial to take a terrible attorney and then remove his good one all at the same time, right?
And, if people haven't read, the statements that Dan Hull has made, they're extremely offensive to me and, should be to most Americans because Ashley was murdered that day. And what he says is very offensive to me and my good friend Nikki. So
he went further, I think, than just to be offensive. Do you know what I mean? It was a hateful comment. It was, he called everybody white trash. He called Ashley Babbitt white trash. He said she deserved to die. He said the police made a good shot. And I was shocked by that. I was just like, oh my goodness. I mean, why is this guy still on these cases then if he feels that way?
And Nicole, who's running your camera right now?
Randy.
Oh, Randy, if he could move you from in a little bit more in the center there. That's okay. Good. So go ahead. I'm sorry, ladies.
So those statements were released today. Tell me what what the reaction was from everyone surrounding the case upon finding out what. And did you guys already know that he had said that? Was it common knowledge that he had already said? Everybody know?
I had found out yesterday afternoon what Mr. Hull had said. I was aware that Alicia was going to write something on it. It wasn't brought up in court at all. His personal opinions have nothing to do with him defending a Jan Sixer, although it should offend all Jan Sixers that he said that.
Mm-hmm.
It's extremely biased comment, and then it makes you wonder what type of defense he's going to put on for Biggs if that's his opinion. So, the judge had no opinion in it, but I know many of us certainly do have an opinion on it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Most Americans should. Most humans should, in fact.
Yeah.
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 Yep.
An American citizen was murdered that day. Actually, 4 of them were murdered that day, and that should concern all American citizens. So.
Amen.
Yeah. Now, we're going to get to that after we get the update. So bring us back. You went back in the courtroom.
Yes. in the defense, in the prosecution's opening statements, you could see the jury flinch at some of the comments that they put up by the Proud Boys. You could see them wince, at some of the videos that they showed, which are very inflammatory videos. But by the time that we took lunch and when we came back, we started out and the defense came out right away with Nick Smith. He's the attorney for Ethan Nordine, and he calmly spoke to the jury and laid it out very clear about how this is going to proceed, that you're not going to find a conspiracy of any type. And you could see the jury warming up to what Nick Smith was saying. And then Roger Roots came in. Now, I have to say, Judge Kelly does not like Roger. He does not. He tries to admonish him and embarrass him every chance he gets. And, we all know the reason why he does that. It's to put him in a bad light. So the jury does not take him seriously. And we know why he does that. Roger Roots is the only one out there that's won against them. So they're going to do everything they can to belittle him.
Yeah, can I say won against the deep state twice, by the way, and I'm here partly because of his work. Just need to say that.
Well, no, it is, and it is partly because of his work and his angle on things. And he's not their friend. He is not the friend of the DOJ, and they know that. He doesn't even pretend to be their friend. And honestly, sitting over there, I like to see that. I don't want to be their friends either.
Mm-hmm.
So, because they're out to get all of us. And, the schmoozing that goes on sometimes is just not my cup of tea. I think they need to know we're on opposite sides. And Roger is very clear on that. And he had some very good points about, Pizzola and what he saw the police do that day and his reaction to that. And, and he showed the video very clearly. You could see the jury see the police assaulting American citizens, and that was the reaction that Pizzola had to that. So that'll play out more as we get more evidence that comes in. But Roger really laid it out there, and I was really proud of the way he did that. He stood strong for Jan Sixers.
Now Roger is, so everybody knows clearly, Roger Roots is going the route of self-defense, right? And the judge has admonished him for that and said that the time for a self-defense claim has come and gone or way past or whatever. Yeah, but you're telling us that Roger is going forward with it anyway.
Oh, yeah. Of course he is. Mm-hmm. Opening statements, you get a little bit of leeway in opening statements. Mm-hmm. He did dance around his words, and he did a very good job of not using the word self-defense. He used other words, but they mean the same. Mm-hmm. And he did a really good job at that. There was some contention between Carmen Hernandez, who is the lawyer for Zach Real, and her very first slide was Zach Real is innocent, and the government had an issue with that. And, I know, and we had to have 20 minutes of them wanting to go over every word that she was going to say. And like I said yesterday, Carmen's had 35 years of practicing in this area. She said, I've never had to defend the words coming out of my mouth that I'm going to say during opening. It's defining every word. And, Carmen's also not the one to bark at, because she barks right back. And, the fireworks go off in that courtroom, and she just can't believe what she's witnessing by this government in all her years. A quote from Carmen is, in all my years, I've never seen anything like this in my life.
Okay, can I say something? Hold on, just one quick note. Mm-hmm. We need to start emphasizing what the jury is not seeing, because ultimately the jury is going to make a decision only on what they see. And what they don't see is typically the truth that the government never wants to get. So these arguments about what she can and can't say, and that first slide, was that in the presence of the jury?
Well, Judge Kelly did let it in. It was through an argument by the government, of course, because they did not want that up there.
God forbid the presumption of innocence in the Constitution,
exactly. that is out the window with this government. They just want the jury to come in, say they're guilty. Let's get out of here. Let's get another Jan 6 case in here and get them convicted. That's all they want. This courthouse right now is a machine for convictions for Jan 6ers, and it's disgusting. You know, most of the things that they show, you see messages that are out of place. Enrique Tarrio's lawyer did a great job explaining to the jury that you need to wait and see all of the evidence. You need to really ask yourself, you know, what is this government doing to its people? And he asked them that question. You need to understand you have the force of the American government against the American people. And he laid it out really clear. I think it's a great defense team. I think, you know, the Proud Boys have such an amazing fight right now. And I think all Americans need to make sure that they're watching this trial. I encourage everybody to text TOTC to 844-837-9924 and get these updates, because as we go forward, there's going to be so many things dropped. You're not going to want to miss this.
Speaking of that, Nicole, yesterday and probably into today, there was huge contention between the prosecution and the defense over a certain video that the defense wanted to play. Can you explain that to everybody? What was in this video that the prosecution wanted the jury to see and the defense didn't?
Okay, so what it is in the beginning, before they made it up all the way to the Capitol, the police had actually shot the rubber bullets into the crowd, and there were several that were hit, and they did not want the jury to see the blood on the ground or a picture of an American citizen shot in the face with a rubber bullet. The government doesn't want that out there. And as we go further in these cases, there's going to be a lot of video they don't want out. But that's too bad. That's what happened that day. And so Roger did get to show the video, and he did show the picture, and the jury had to see it. And many looked away, but, you know, it's hard to see. It's hard to see a fellow American being shot by the police. And I'm sure many people on that jury, you know, if they take their bias away, they would not want to see an American shot that way by the police.
Yeah. Now,
fantastic.
I have a question for Roger Roots to get up there and do opening arguments. That tells me that Metcalf, I don't even like to say his name. He shall remain nameless, but for the purposes of making sure that we proceed without hurting people, did Metcalf get up at all?
No, he did not.
Yeah, so sit down and shut up and let Mr. Roger Roots take it. So, I mean, that's what I say. And you know what? By the way, this isn't a performance that I did. Did you know when I was in prison scrubs and shackles, I used to call, you know, these attorneys are chimpanzees. You know, we're the lead attorneys, and they are. Now, that's another thing. The defendants, right? They seem confident. They seem, you know, like they're.
The defendants are great. You know, they are making eye contact with the jury. They are very personable men, anyway. You know, so
these are good-looking guys. I might add. These are good-looking guys. I might add.
Yeah,
isn't that right?
Yeah.
They're not ugly people, right?
Yeah. They're personable. They look great sitting at the table. They're all dressed great. They're making great eye contact with the jury.
Great.
The jury is looking back at them. You know, the family members and everything, they're really holding strong. There's a strong bunch of women in there, you know, sitting with their men. And, you know, good thing to see. It just shows how strong Jan 6ers are.
That's great. Here's my next question. Just this entire full day of opening arguments from both sides. On the defense side, does it seem like there was a presentation to the jury? Because you remember, these are leftists, BLM. I mean, we can complain all we want, but they're leftist. And they're generally not for police brutality. And, you know, they want to defund the police. Was there a good enough presentation to the jury that this isn't necessarily about defending the defendants? Their state of mind is just like yours. You know, they wanted to defund the people that shoot, you know, Americans in the face with, you know, with pepper balls, right?
Right. It was a great move by Roger to get that in there. You know, it was really impactful for the jury to see those pictures. A lot of people have not seen that video of the man who was shot in the face. I mean, there's a hole through his cheek. where you can see the tissue that he has trying to stop the bleeding. You can see it through his face. And the large pool of blood on the ground, you can see the reaction of the crowds around Pizzola and the other people that were there to protest. You can see their reaction towards the police. They called it the Big Bang, is that the police, ignited that, and then the crowd just exploded.
Oh, yeah.
And that is something we've all known for a really long time. It's just been hard pressed to get it into a courtroom.
Yes, and Roger Root's doing that because remember what I said? I said this is going to be about prosecuting the government. Imagine the people that are sitting in the box, the 12 people. 2 points to make here. They're the ones that typically burn buildings down when they're outraged at the system, and they'll burn the police station down. That's what we need in the box, is that same level of energy to understand that your state of mind when the police are firing tear gas and rubber bullets at people, you're going to cause a reaction, period. That reaction is what they're being charged with. And the jury also, here's another thing. They will never, ever, ever hear that if they render a verdict of guilty, these guys are going to go to jail for 20 years. And it could be Dominic Pizzola breaking a window because he was upset by what he saw. And they say, well, he's got to be held accountable. The law is this. And they just put somebody away for 20 years. But that will be kept from the jury.
Mm-hmm. Well, I have so much confidence with Roger and Norm Pattis on the case, and Carmen Hernandez and Enrique Tarrio's attorneys. They're really fighting, and they're not taking it from the government, and that's what we've needed in these cases from the beginning. And with the amount of evidence that they showed just during opening arguments, with the video and with bringing out the timeline of the chats, and you can't just cherry pick what you want out of a conversation and make your own conversation. And that is exactly what this government has done. I'll be back tomorrow, you guys.
Yes.
I'm a real Jan 6 housewife, and I'm here at the DC jail. Please get the text updates by texting TOTC to 844-837-9924. I've got to get out of here and go do the vigil at the DC jail, but stay tuned for the updates tomorrow, you guys.
All right. Thank you, Nicole.